from the depths instant tutorial.
Today you're watching how to make a submarine, so let's go to work. There are millions of ways to make submarines, but we're going to make the classical submarine that uses an air tank to pump in or out air and water. What we need to think about is buoyancy. Blocks with high buoyancy needs to be avoided, so alloy, for example, is not useful for this application. What we can use is stone or metal. Stone or metal are almost weightless in water, so I would recommend you to build the main structure of either stone or metal. We will use some lead for ballast, also some rubber for bash protection from the bottom or areas basically, and also some wood for decoration and a little bit to keep the upside up. However, I'm going to save costs, so I will make my main structure out of stone. And here we have a decently large counterweight, which is right here. Now we will divide in this vehicle in 3 parts using stone. So we have 3 stone compartments, and we're going to try and have the mass center at the center of the middle chamber, or the expected mass center. Something like that. Now we're going to add some basic components. I will use the Ecomax 100 engine prefab because it's very fuel efficient and I don't want to place all these blocks. We're gonna place 2 of them for the time of being. Then we're going to add an AI and we're going to use this simple prefab. We want PIDs for roll, pitch and hover, and you can stack them just like that. We're also setting up a quick little torpedo here, because we want torpedo systems on a submarine. It makes most sense. If you want to know more about how to make torpedoes, I have specific tutorials for that. But we'll just set up some torpedoes here, and there we go. And there we have a little local weapon controller. It's more to set up that the targets we target are, reachable, but we can't reach them if they're high up in the air. An inter-vehicle transmitter is also a good idea, so we can get better aiming for our submarine, or make them find targets more easily. However, if we do this, we'll need to remember that we can be detected if our enemy uses a wireless snooper. And a wireless snooper is something that we should also install onto our submarine. It's always a good idea to have a wireless snooper as backup for submarines. Alright, down below here we will store our ammunition, and we'll also have some other equipment there later on. In any case, it's smart to have some general stuff like repair bots so that we can repair ourselves if need be. Just a good idea to have a couple of them. And we should also have some extra resources, some extra material storage, so we don't need too much, but just have something on board here. Now we are going to go to the water tab, and we're going to put an air pump inside each of these 3 compartments. We have 3 compartments, and we're gonna have one on each place, just like that. Back here I have prepared with a little duct from the air tab, one of these, a placement for a water propeller, but the air duct thing works very well for propellers as well, so this is absolutely fine. We'll just click G to align the propeller, and we can place the forwards facing propeller right here. Make sure that no of the air pumps are in the same compartment as the propeller, because the propeller won't work if you suck out the water from it, the space where it's at. Kind of makes sense. Alright, now we've set that up, so we should close this thing in a little bit so that the air compartments are tight. Alright, it's taking shape. And I've added this little tree deck on top, one part for sheep armor, if damage comes from above, but one part also to make it floatier on top and heavier on the bottom. And this will help it keep right angles, and we'll need to use less power for that. So in any case, we're going to add some detection, and this is a submarine, which means that detection will be mostly limited to sonars. We're gonna use a 360 sonar on top, and what we also can use is to use passive sonars instead, if we want to have a submarine that's stealthy. But this is not a stealth submarine per se, so we're going to use with a regular sonar. And to increase detection from the front, we're going to add one sonar facing forwards, which is a little bit more, it's better. What we will do is adding these rubber surfaces on the bottom here. So if this little bottom surface accidentally hits the sea bottom, we will not take any damage, because this bottom piece will be the only thing that will hit the ground. So we're just gonna cover this with rubber, and that will be it. And if we might bump into stuff with the front of our craft, we can put some rubber there as well. Be careful to not use too much rubber though, because rubber is floaty. And this is also the reason why we have a heavy piece of lead like that, so that we will sink if we don't pump in some air. Now we need to set up some stuff here. You can see this propeller, we have 401 power available all in all. And this propeller, it can use a maximum of, if we go in here and see huge propeller, 405. So it uses all the power. We're going to use the power scale and set it to something more sensible, maybe like 1.5 or something like that. And it means that you can see now it only can use 100 power. And this can let us use power on other areas as well. And we want to have small thrusters here for turning. We also want to have some auxiliary thrusters down there, because the mass is a little bit like there. And we also want to put up some roll. So we go to the mass center, like that, and then we can set up maybe on the bottom instead, some rolling thrusters here and there. Now we're going to do some balancing and set up the AI to make this a real submarine. Here we have the air pump, and it's set to pump. And now we can see what altitude we have. Are we losing altitude or are we gaining? And we are actually sinking down into the water, and that means we actually have too much lead down here. So we're going to either add some more wood on top, or we're going to remove some of the lead. I will remove some of the lead. And now we're gaining altitude again. Fantastic. Then we will see what happens if we take the air pumps and set the pumping value to 0, like that. And let's see here. Now we are sinking again. Fantastic! We have found the equilibrium for this craft. Now we'll set everything up. So what we want to do is we want to go into the water pump, and we're going to set it to strafe and hover. Check this button. Check hover on. This thing is the forward tank, I believe. Yes, this is the most forward tank. So we're going to set it to pitch as well. Instantly set to 1 when hearing pitch nose up. Right, like that. This is the middle one. We're gonna set it to strafe and hover. Hover, positive. And then we're going to go to the last one here. We're gonna set it strafe and hover like that one. And we're going to set to pitch. So -1. Set to -1 when hearing pitch nose up. So we can also use them to control pitch a little bit, like a, pitch control system. So now we have a pusher preset on the propeller here, as well as the auxiliary propeller. This one should be set up as a turner. This one should also be a turner. Here we have the roller presets. And there we have the roller preset. Fantastic, now that is set up. Now we should go into the AI, select PID, we're gonna check, roll, pitch, and hover. Now we're gonna set up the AI. So click C, click on your vehicle, then we're gonna add a reasonable setting. We're going to select point at. Combat distance will be maybe 500 meters, and combat altitude will be perhaps -100 almost. It's probably, will probably evade stuff like that. Alright, activate this thing. Then we're gonna set a minimum altitude, set it to 300. And max altitude, we can set it to -7, so we can basically see it. Maybe a little lower, -30. Perfect. All right, this is on water, and how much depth are we requiring? We're probably requiring somewhat like probably 40 depth, so we don't get stuck. Alright, perfect, like that. We're gonna add a maneuver, and we're going to select ship or tank. Here we can select hover and pitch controls. Just go back here and make sure nothing has changed, because that happened before. Alright, very nice. This ship or tank is water distance. Ideal pitch angle should be 0. And that's very nice. Additional routines, we have additional routines, but we're not going to use them, so we're going to replace those blocks. We can set the pitch or the roll to a little bit more or less careful if we are having troubles with it not being stable. We are not having such troubles anyways, but you can play around with these values to reach some kind of stability. But it's less sensitive in water, or seem to be able to... yeah. We seem to be going pretty stably. We're not moving very smoothly side to side. So what I would do here is actually to go into this little AI compartment, slap another of these on top, and click a little AI PID for the jaw. And it usually, fingers crossed, solves the problem automatically. And it did this time as well. How beautiful is that not? AI PIDs are the best. This is absolutely fantastic. Here you can see our submarine has reached its waypoint, and it's basically sitting here using almost no engine power at all, because it's just, you know, yeah. That's why we want to use water pumps for controlling the depth and also the pitch. In any case, we can go up here and just give it a little command so that you can see we can go somewhere if we want. And it seems to be working very fine. Let's test this thing against the little marauder. Oh, and this is a sea vehicle, by the way. Can be a good thing to set. Well, there we have it. Our submarine has navigated and put itself in front of the marauder like this, and just sits here underwater and launches torpedoes. Very nice. In any case, I hope this short tutorial was helpful for you, and do subscribe for more instant tutorials. This is Jimodesm, and we're signing out.